Okay, it's day 1800. I don't really know. What day is it? Do you know?
12 or 13.
Yeah, that. Check out what we've got working on here. A lot of thought went into that, believe it or not. So this is from Barnes as well. It comes in 2 pieces, which I found to be kind of handy, but at the same time, it's kind of clumsy because you have to hold all the pieces together. But Josh said, and he's right, it allows you to mess up. Because if you have one tube and you make that notch imperfect, you have to start from scratch. This allows you to slide it up and down. As you can see, it's in 2 pieces. You can kind of figure out the height that you want, the angle that you want. To get the angle right, you just turn that. To get the height right, you just slide that up. So we've done that side. Let's show you how to do the other side here. So the first thing that you need to do is get you 2 little pieces of pipe like this. They're actually not pipe, they're tube. And we're gonna figure out where those go. So we're putting those right here and here. That other piece is gonna set on top. Sounds simple, but it's really not. You have to notch those tubes to sit on these. Then you have to hold everything in place, weld it in just the right spot so that it's centered over the axle and at the right height so that it doesn't hit the hood.
Yep.
Let's break it down.
Plenty of room. Cool. 1/4 inch.
Somehow or another, it became another day. Check this out. So we've got these shock mount tabs and they're gonna go here. It's always a good idea, instead of using your shock or trying to hold that up in place, just make a spacer that's the same width. That way we can not have so much weight to hold here. Now we can hold this up, tack it in place, remove the spacer, and it'll be perfect. You always wanna weld it with the spacer in though, but don't weld it until you know that it's gonna work. Another thing you have to consider when doing a bolt through a hoop like this, you have to be able to get the bolt out. So you want to make sure that you don't weld it in here, otherwise you wouldn't be able to ever get the bolt out. We're gonna go right down there. Not rounded. Okay guys, it's time to shock the system. We're still missing the track bar. It's on order. It's coming. It's coming. There we go.
Yeah, going on.
Oh, perfect. So close, yet so far.
So that should be full droop then.
That's all the articulation you get right there. That's all the droops. Right now that shock is completely out as far as it'll go. And then let's see it go down. Will it go down? We're gonna pop a tack here in a minute. front all mocked into place, what we thought was going to be a half a day's worth of work, and now it's what, 3 or 4 days later?
It's probably 2 full days.
And if you thought that was difficult, the rear is going to be even worse. So let's get to work on that. Oh, it's lunchtime.
Yep, you let me off.
Hope he's got us some food. What do you have for us for today?
Brisket and beans.
Oh, look at that. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I know.
How did you know?
Because I love you. Stop looking at me.
She brought the good stuff today.
Yes.
Oh, look at that spread.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. You want some bit of our dog? There's plenty more, so just give me like 2 or 3. Like your haircut.
Thank you. Every time I get it cut, I have less left.
Is that right?
Well, that would make sense. When you get your hair cut, you have less.
This goes back farther and
It
farther.
just keeps on getting shorter and shorter.
Okay, guys, let me teach you how to eat brisket. I didn't know this until last year, but this is the way it's done. You have to have a little bit of brisket, a little bit of barbecue sauce, a little bit of onion, and then this. This is a pepperoncini, and you have to say it just like that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So you're going to get all that ready. By that. Fantastic.
You're gonna need that.
What brand are the pepperoncinis? Because they're not all the same. Walmart brand is no good. You have to get the actual brand, whatever it is. They don't pop and shoot juice everywhere when you bite into them. That's the wrong ones. Okay, first things first, on the rear here, we need to cut out the fenders so that the tire will actually fit up in there, because we can't figure out full bump and ride height and flex and all that stuff without being able to put the tire up inside there. I'm gonna leave that up to Josh, because the last time I cut somebody's fenders, it was Tim's, and I did a terrible job because he told me he was gonna replace them and then he never did. So I thought, oh, he's just gonna replace them anyway. I'll just cut huge squares into it. No, Tim, he finally did about 1.5 years later. But it's Josh's turn.
It's gonna start off being a horrible job. So.
Well, you can always cut more. You can never add it back.
Yep, that's what we're doing. We're gonna cut stuff out of the way. The minimums till we get where we want, and then we'll shape it.
Alright.
Hey,
The dustpan.
I've been looking for that for a week.
And it's just sitting right there the whole time. Stupid dustpan. Let's see what kind of mess we've got ourselves into now. This is the shock tower from Barnes, and that's going to sit right here. Josh has opened us a nice big hole here, but we don't want to weld that directly to this thin sheet metal, so we need to cut out a template, make a big thick steel plate that goes over here, so this will have something to weld to. We also need to change the angle of this a little bit, because if we leave it stock like that, it's sticking out pretty much over the tire right here, and that's not good because the shock will then hit the tire. So we need to angle that back a little bit, try to find the right angle where that the shock is in the middle between the tire and the frame rail, because we don't want it to hit either. So first thing is to get this stickum off the floor. If you weren't swamp riding everywhere, you wouldn't have water all under it.
That's from pressure washing it. That's pressure washer water.
I think that's swamp buggy water.
Hammer.
I thought you said camera. What'd you say? Hammer?
Hammer.
My bad. Where is the hammer?
It's right there.
Here you go.
Thank you.
You know, it'd be a lot easier if we lifted it up.
It would be.
Josh is afraid that if we lift it up, the whole Jeep will fold in half.
A little bit. It's crossed my mind.
As I told you, we ended up cutting more than we expected.
May not be done yet.
I told you that was going to happen.
Yep.
So, if you look here, putting those on the outside of the frame rails just didn't give us enough clearance in here for the shock. So what we did is French those Barnes mounts into the frame rail, and that gave us a little bit more room. So now we have, instead of having this much room, we have this much room for the shocks to go down to the axle. So now we're going to put the shocks in and test them out, make sure that's going to clearance. And we just have everything tacked in right now, so hopefully that doesn't pop loose. From here back, the only thing holding that in is the roof and the body, because the frame is cut. That'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
The window has a lot of support.
Mm-hmm.
If it folds in half, catch it.
Keep going.
Okay.
What was that?
That is looking good right there. Woo woo! You can actually see stuff now. It's looking good, huh?
It is looking good.
I like it.
Fabulous.
2 thumbs up. What were you were trying to get it perfectly straight. Alright guys, what we were talking about just now is everything looks great. So we got it basically halfway between the tower and the tire. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and tack the bottom into place, because we want to flex it. So it looks great going all the way to full bump and all the way flexed out, but what we want to do is flex it this way and make sure that that shock still doesn't contact the tire or the tower. Got 2 springs on there, just so that we know the width, and we can check to see if everything is clearing. Now we need to lift one side, lower the other side. So we need a big old tall jack. I know, just the thing. Oh, look at that. Need some more. There we go. Alright, so here's what we're looking for. When you flex this thing, all the geometry changes, and now things start to get tight. As you can see, it's getting close to the tire, but it's not hitting just yet. But we still need to go up a little bit here and down a little bit there. So that means up on the lift and up on the jack.
It's touching the body.
We're going to continue testing. We'll be back in a sec. stuff fits in there. You measured wrong.
No. I measured wrong.
It'll be fine. Real cozy with both of us in there. Did that do it? Oh, hair caught on fire. Good enough for government work. Check it out, tool cart complete. Look at this. So I've got wrenches up here, got a whole bag full of stuff there. Just random stuff in the top drawers here. Sockets, that's 3/8, and we have 1/2 inch there. I was actually able to fit most of my ginormous toolbox in this one little toolbox, which I thought was pretty crazy. That's all the tools that we typically use on a day-to-day basis, and then everything in here is just like stuff that you use maybe once a day or once a week, something like that. And then just the extra sockets, like the huge sockets, you don't use a 32 millimeter every day, so I'll just keep all that stuff in the big toolbox. All right guys, it's been a couple of days. Josh has been hard at work. What have you done? You've cut this out more.
Front upper control arm.
And we are about ready to set it down on its own weight on the rear end. All of these are boxed in here. Boxed in, braced, welded. Everything's welded on the rear end. I think we're ready. How tall is it gonna be? Holy smokes.
Is it caught?
I think that's your new ride height.
Something getting caught. It's hitting a hard wall.
We'll let it down and we'll bounce it and see. You need more weight back here. Okay, so there's ride height for now. What we need to do now is move this Jeep. I'll tell you why in a minute, but we need to get this Jeep off of the lift and set over here. It's kind of an issue though because we don't have a track bar and all of the front suspension is just tacked in place. So we're gonna have to figure out how to move that. What we've done is put 2 jack stands right in front there. We've got these, what would you call these? Car mover dollies? We've got those under all 4 tires. Those are from Ranger or Bin Pack. They're kind of one and the same company. But we're gonna try to move this thing, so let's see how it goes. Forced. Is it sitting right? Lift it up. Okay, go. Oh, it's down. It's moving. What's that noise? We're doing it. Okay, we got her shoved over into the corner, and that's where she's going to stay for the next week because we are going to move on to another cool project. This one is going to be exciting. Should we tell them?
Which one's coming out first?
the Dodge. So we're gonna do something really cool with this Dodge that we've got from Pull Apart. Next up, we're gonna mount this Thor Cowl intake because, as mentioned, we don't have an air box anymore. This bracket gets mounted right about here, and then the air intake comes around and goes in there. The computer, that needs to get mounted, and this fuse and relay box. All right, let's see if we can remount some things here. Oh, I missed it. There seems to be some pine needles in there.
You're cutting a hole right there. I'm coming through the other side, getting ready to cut a big hole in my dash where that switch box is gonna go.
Airbag. All right, so I cut a hole right there. The way this works is the filter is gonna go up in there, followed by this little guy, and then the tube basically sits like this. It also comes with a splash shield that goes up inside the cowl, and that just keeps water off of the filter for any of you guys wondering how that works. Once you get that hole situated, you basically put it all together like this and just shove it in there.
But while Matt has been putting in the Thor intake, I was doing the simple task of taking out the airbag cover so that I could mount a plate and put in my battery cutoff switch. And that has turned into this mess. And right now we're getting ready to see
Are you pulling
it all come apart.
Are you pulling the whole dash apart? Why are you doing that?
Chrysler, Jeep, Fiat, whatever this is, put 2 bolts that I had thought came through the back. This is your airbag module right here, your airbag. This is what blows up in your face. And these 2 bolts I couldn't get to take this out.
Okay, that's that. We do have a coupon code for Thor, by the way. It doesn't get you a discount, but it does get you a free sock for your filter. So if you're interested in that, check it out at BleepinJeep.com. Member discounts, that's where we keep all of our coupon codes. Even if you're not going to use that coupon code, I highly recommend having one of these socks on your air filter because it really does make a huge difference, and it keeps out probably, I'd say 90% of all of the crap that builds up inside your filter. Only little tiny particles get past this, so when you go to clean that filter, it's so much easier if you've had a sock on it.
And water.
Yeah, it's got this like sheath on it that kind of repels water too, so it doesn't just soak up, it just slides right off. Good call. Oh yeah, and I forgot to put the sock on, so now all that has to come back apart. My bad. Now I'm gonna mount the computer somewhere since that mount got deleted. I think it'll work good right about there. So to do that, I'm just gonna make a cardboard template. That's gonna look good right there. And then I'll trace that out of steel.
This is just a cheap Amazon battery holder. Amazon, eBay, they're like 25 bucks. We'll weld it in.
Alright, if you've been paying attention, we just got back from the Wrecker Games and we have a few more shirts left. We didn't sell them all, so if you wanted one of these shirts and you didn't get one, they're on our website, BleepinJeep.com, at the store at the top. If you need one, we've got them there. That's all I've got for you for this video, but stay tuned because we have a lot more on this WJ coming up next week, and we have to get this thing to Easter Jeep Safari. So we're in a huge hurry. to get this thing done. Stay tuned, we'll see you next week. Until then, we've got videos over there.
What you doing?
Right?
Right. We're all right there.
Right over the top of his head.